and welcome to the Data Slate brought to you by Counter Offensive Miniatures. Today in the command bunker I have Alex with me. How you doing, mate?
Good to be here. Good to be talking to you all.
Welcome, mate.
Thank you.
Alex is a good friend of mine. We met last year when I was getting into the game of Warhammer 40K, and you were my victim, weren't you?
I was one of your first opponents, I think, wasn't I?
Definitely.
Very early on, yeah.
Definitely, and you nurtured me all the way through, haven't you? Really?
Tried to, yeah.
But no, Alex, introduce yourself. What are you playing?
So I'm Alex. So for those of you that don't know me, I play Blood Angels. Absolutely love Blood Angels. Love the Space Vampires. That's been my army since I was a kid. I haven't played up until now, so I had a massive break. Got back into it in COVID times, like many other people. I flirted with some other armies, started collecting some orcs and stuff, but just never found the time to actually make it into anything viable to play. So yeah, Blood Angels are my jam, and that's what I play on a regular basis.
And so today, the reason for this video is we want to just cover off a couple of subjects, where we've sort of,
lessons learned.
Yeah, lessons learned, isn't it really? And some of you're going to know all this sort of stuff. Others,
hopefully get something out of it.
Hopefully get something out of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so essentially, there's three bits we want to talk about today. One is going to be about ruins, isn't it?
100%. Yep.
Second one is reinforcements. So that's the two bits on the rule side, and the third bit is the follow on to how I actually got on with the 3 Lancers. And I want to just have a brief sort of chat about that.
In your last game, yeah. See how you got on.
I
think there's one other thing we should talk about. Just quickly mention the new merch.
Oh.
Where's the camera? The new count. Look at that. It'll be available on the website soon. Got some new merch. So bang on brand.
If there was a website.
Yeah.
and there is only 2 cups.
2 in existence.
Basically, it's a birthday present from the family, so these are the only 2 cups. So don't go mad ordering because you might be waiting a few weeks.
Yeah.
And don't ask me how much they are because I haven't got a clue.
Cool.
So
ruins. What do you know? What do you ruin?
Okay, so what do you ruin? Oh, yeah, let's not go there.
I think, right, so what we should do for the audience, I think we should, if we get the rules up for ruins to start off with, and just give a bit of a background as to why we've brought this up as a topic.
Yeah.
So our thinking, well, Rudy brings this up, I'll just give you a bit of an intro, but basically, my experience over the last few years of playing 40k is ruins aren't discussed. If you don't ask your opponent on each game, and that doesn't matter, I don't think, whether you play the same opponent week in, week out, or you're doing different tournaments and playing different people all the time, although the latter is probably more important. You really don't want those feel-bad moments. And like, if I take Rudy, for example, I don't want to put him in a feels-bad moment either. And the thing with ruins is you can go to a tournament or a match or whatever, even playing 3 games on a day for a bit of fun, can't you?
Yeah.
And I could play you in game 1, and you'll play the scenery or the ruins in one way.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to the second game, and if you don't discuss it, you'll play it. Your next opponent can play them differently.
Yeah.
And
it ruin your game.
It will ruin your game. With no pun intended, it will ruin your game. Yeah.
and it could literally ruin your opponent's game.
Because you could put them. So
you could take advantage of something they don't know.
Exactly. And one of the because I play Blood Angels. For those of you who don't know, I'm a melee army. I like to hide. I like to jump out. I like to counterpunch. And ruins are a massive part of my army and how they play. And we were talking about this just before we started filming today. If I play you and we say in a lot of tournaments you'll go, and we'll demo this in a minute, but in a lot of tournaments you'll go and the ruins themselves will have windows in, and a lot of tournaments they will say that the bottom floor is all solid, even if there's windows in it, you can't see through them. There's no true line of sight. Others will play that there is true line of sight, so once you've stepped into the ruin itself, if there's windows in the bottom, you can see through it. Obviously we'll come on to the rules, but you can't see. If someone's behind the ruin and you're either side of it, you can't see through that, which is fine. But then we've also been discussing about the footprint. So some tournaments will just have the ruin itself, and other tournaments will have the building or the ruins, and then it will be on a footprint. And again, the amount of times I've played, and people will interpret it like either the ruin itself is the building, the thing.
Yeah.
And there's one place where we play quite regularly, and some of the buildings that they're on, they've got like an inch and a half footprint that extends over, and some people will include that, some people won't. So you don't want to say, I don't want to say to you, oh, I moved my whole army expecting not to be shot, and then you go to shoot me, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't think you could do that. I wouldn't, So it's all about just that 5-minute conversation at the start can really help the fun, I guess, and get rid of that confusion.
I think when you go, a lot of the events we go to are sort of they're not massive grand tournaments. They're local events
Local-
and that, and
local
they're
games,
put on by
local.
people who they're not going to be making a lot of money out of it. They're generally doing it because they just like the hobby, don't they?
Yeah.
And sometimes they probably haven't got the confidence to really stand up and go, right, this is how we're playing it today. This is X, Y, and Z. And then what ends up happening is you end up having the same conversation about like if it's ruins, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what can be seen, what can be. But sometimes if it was just laid out at the beginning, that would help, wouldn't it?
Just that 5 minutes, just
definitely.
that quick chat about how they're
definitely.
expecting.
So as you're going around the game table, if it does vary a little bit, as long as you both actually come up with an amicable agreement of how it works, at least you know then how to play that particular game you're playing.
With that play, I think that's the perfect point.
You can then adapt to it.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant whether it is, you can see through it, you can't.
As long as you
at
both
the beginning
agree.
Of the game, you know that is what it is. You can play to that, can't you?
100%.
So look, let's take a look at this. Is an extract from the current
Rule set,
rules. And yeah, here it is.
And I mean, it says it in black and white here, but I find, and again, we were talking about this before the filming today. So I find that I reckon I would say 9 games out of 10, if I didn't ask my opponent at the start of the game how they're going to play the scenery and especially the ruins, they probably wouldn't ask me.
No, so I think you're right. I think I've asked probably more than
most people, and I feel like if I didn't ask them, we would undoubtedly get into turn 1 or 2, and then they would play it differently. So to the last person, anyway. So we can see here that it clearly says that both players must agree upon the footprint, and I want to add to that because you want to talk about the footprint of the ruin, but also this whole first floor thing, because a lot of tournament players will say that the first floor is solid regardless of it having windows or not, and some tournaments will actually be solid ruins, but a lot of them won't. They will have the sort of Gothic ruins with the windows in. So that's really important, because if you're then stepping into a building, the whole line of sight thing becomes you don't want to step into a building if you think the bottom floor is solid. And exactly as you say, you get lit up. So that is really important, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And what we'll do, we'll get a camera in a minute on one of these. So we've got an example in a bit to go on there. Before we do that, though, I think we'll just that's footprint, isn't it? Going into visibility.
Visibility, yeah. So this is another really important one, especially if you're playing knights.
Definitely. So models cannot see over or through this terrain feature. So, i.e., unit outside this terrain feature cannot draw line of sight to a target on the other side of it, even if it would be possible to draw line of sight to that target through open windows, doors, etc. So, irrelevant on the day if someone says that ground floor is visible, okay, that is still irrelevant in this rule, because this is stating that as long as you're the other side of that building, you know, that it could have a massive gap in it. You can't be seen.
You can't be seen.
So that's why it's really important on the previous bit.
The footprint.
Is the footprint.
Yeah.
To sort of then make sure that, look,
what is the footprint?
Yeah. And I'm actually still the other side of this building.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So that is really a bit. There's a little bit here about sort of towering and aircraft. Models are exceptions to this. So, but today we're just going to be focused on the real basic bits of infantry, aren't we, and how they work, because I think that's majority of the time what comes up.
What comes up? Yeah.
So benefit of cover is the next bit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a little look pictures at this one then. So each time a range attack is allocated to a model, if that model is either wholly within this terrain feature or it is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this terrain feature, that model has the benefit of cover. Now, I'll be honest with you, I actually missed that bit, and I can't say until you know.
Until we talked about it tonight.
Started talking about it. I didn't pick up on that bit where it says wholly within. You know, I reckon there's been numerous times where I've probably had line of sight, probably could actually see the whole model, and it's just tiptoeing into the terrain feature, and someone says, "Oh, I've got cover on that."
Yeah, and they wouldn't have.
And they haven't.
They haven't.
It's wholly
within. Yeah.
And I think, you know, I suppose it's only literally. I suppose, you know, there's my journey through this game is, you know, I suppose now is where I'm starting to get into a bit more of the detail
of the rules.
I mean, isn't, you know, where I want to try and get my gameplay up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm now having to sort of delve more into and making sure that I know every part of these rules.
Yeah.
Because something like that can win or lose
trip,
a game.
yeah, trip you up. It can make a tiny difference, but yeah, it can make a huge difference.
That's another one on a save.
Yeah, yeah,
you see what I mean?
yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just that.
We've all been there.
It's literally could be on that, whatever that is. That could be on a wound. That could be someone trying to achieve an action sitting in there,
and it makes all the difference.
Managed to save it because they thought that they had cover and you just went with it.
Yeah,
You didn't read the rules.
100%.
I didn't.
100%.
So look, that's the script on these bits and pieces. All right.
Right. So what we're going to do now is Rudy's going to go over to the table where we've got some scenery set up to talk about some of these issues or bits that you should talk over in the game, so that you don't have those feel bad moments. So what you're looking at the screen at the moment is the same bit of scenery set up. And we've got a white piece of paper underneath to talk about the footprint. So in a tournament, if you just have a building without the paper or a footprint, then what's really important at the start here is to agree with your opponent what the footprint of that building is and where it covers. So you can see at the bottom, it's like cut off in the bottom right hand picture. So you want to agree what the actual footprint of that is. And why that is so important is if you've got models on the bottom and the corner, is where are they able to draw line of sight across the building. And the nice thing about the footprint is Rudy, my lovely assistant, is now demonstrating. If you put the footprint in, it takes away any of that misunderstanding. You and your opponent can clearly now see the footprint. But the things you may have here, which we're not demoing, is the footprint of the building may actually be, in the example we gave earlier, much bigger than the building. It could be an inch and a half sticking out further, depending on who's made the scenery. So again, if that's the case, you really need to agree here. Is it just the building that you're agreeing is the building or the ruin, or is it the whole footprint? If it's mounted on a piece of MDF or whatever, is it that whole piece of MDF? And the reason for that is, Rudy, if you stick one model at the bottom and then one model to the side of the right hand side. So sorry, out the back of the building, so not in the building. That's it, and then one at the bottom outside the building as well. And no, at the narrow edge. I beg your pardon. Here, so what you've got now, because you've got that footprint, is the argument then is can the two models draw line of sight to each other? So some games you'll find that you'll play, your opponent might say, yeah, you can shoot across that corner. Other games you may play, the footprint of the building, so the white, may not you're both not in it, so you're almost behind it, so therefore it goes you can't draw line of sight.
So my interpretation of that of this is the fact is, let's push that and make sure that we are there. So because at the beginning of the game, firstly, sorry everyone, just to point out is we're not telling you to walk around with bits of white paper, by the way.
No.
So this bit of white paper is really just giving you that it's helping you picture what you with your opponent would actually sort of discuss is the imaginary line to what this ruin represents. Okay. And at the beginning of this game, we've agreed that this white box is the footprint of this building. We've come up to a situation where these two players have come up here, and because we've agreed that this is the outside of the building, the first part of that rule, what we read, was about sort of if you're the other side of the building, you cannot be seen.
No.
Well, this is exactly that. Okay, both of them are the outside of the actual building.
Yeah. So therefore can't be seen.
And can't be seen.
Yeah.
All right. The difference would be is if this was pushed along a little bit, and that could actually get a glimpse of that base.
Then it can be seen.
Then it would be seen.
Yeah.
But it would be partially. It'd be getting cover.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean, so another little bit here. So you'll see along from this camera on the left hand side is that you can actually physically see all the way through these windows.
Yeah.
And from the top here, you can see that both models are actually on the outside of it. Irrelevant whether we've agreed if bottom is got open windows or not.
Yeah.
According to the rules, neither of these can
models
actually see
visible.
each other.
Yeah, and that's a really classic one. That is the rule. So that is that should never be different, regardless of the bottom floor being solid or not. That's always.
However, the bit where it starts getting a little bit cloudy.
Yeah, cloudy is a good way to put it, depending on where you're playing, who you're playing.
I'll move this here so you can see it. I've now moved within the terrain feature, and we've now got windows on this piece. At the beginning of the game, we have agreed that it is all ground floor, solid walls.
Solid walls.
So, based on that fact, this model
cannot see that model
within there.
Yeah, and this is the bit I think this is what I really wanted to focus on, because this is a bit where you will play 10 games and 5 games will play it one way and 5 games will play it the other way.
Yeah,
And that,
and you know what? Look, if that's the way it is when you go to that club, as long as you've asked a question, you know how to deal with
yeah.
it.
It stops you making any of those moves where you do the classic, like, oh, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have put my whole army in that building ready to
100%.
charge out. I'd have kept it behind, or,
So
done
there's
something else.
another bit there, isn't it, about models being wholly within cover or everything else. So let's say this model is here, and these two, the enemy's here. That's our friendly unit here. Currently, at the moment, this model cannot see this model. As soon as this one steps into it, it now can be seen. However, because it is not wholly within there,
it's not getting that cover.
It's not going to be getting that cover.
And that's massively important as well.
I think it is,
that can make a big difference.
Yeah, cool.
If you're doing a secondary or something. So I think the big takeaway from this for us, and it's our experience, we're not telling you how to play, and like we say, many of you may know this, but the big takeaway for this is just agreeing every time you play, and I mean every time with your opponent, just the 5 minutes of how do you play it, how are we going to play this, how are we playing the bottom floor, what's the footprint of the building, can really make your game so much more enjoyable, and it doesn't put you or your opponent in any of those awkward, like, oh, can I take that back? I didn't know that was how you were going to play it. If it was, I wouldn't have done that. You know, everyone gets them, and it can make a bit of a feels bad moment. So,
So summary on Ruins is
chat it through.
Chat it through at the beginning.
At the beginning,
definitely.
Be clear on every game.
Yeah, be clear on every game. Just discuss those footprints and make sure that you are clear that whatever that ground floor is it visible, open windows, is it solid, isn't it? And just remember that models have to be wholly within to get cover.
And 100%. And there's 1,000 other things we want to talk about on the channel, and we'll come back to other days. Like there's what models can charge through ruins. You know, that we've got the very gamey, like if you're in a ruin standing an inch away from the wall, so you can't be fought through it. So there's other things we'll touch on. If people like this content, drop a comment, leave some feedback, because we will we'll do more content on that if you find it helpful. And likewise, if you don't find it that helpful and want us to focus on something else, drop a comment in. We'd be more than happy to hear from you guys and see what we can talk about in the next show. But we're just trying to really, from our experiences, give you guys, especially newer players, I think, you know, some sort of leg up to help you get to where we are now from our experience.
It's literally us passing on
wisdom. Kind of wisdom. You won't win any tournaments from it, but a little bit of wisdom.
Our hard learnings.
Yeah.
Basically telling you everything what you can just read in the book, which we never did. So we're just trying to help you because it's easier to click on YouTube,
watch it and then work it out. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's ruins for you. Shall we move on to reinforcements?
Let's do that next.
Cool. Our next subject, or the second subject, is reserves and how they actually relate to the chapter approved mission decks. And the current one, what we're referring to, is this one here, in case this sort of is still being aired in the distant future.
Yeah.
All right. However, the particular rules that we're talking about haven't changed from the last one I played, which was the Prior Next one.
The Prior Next one, I don't think so. Is the same. Yeah, exactly the same.
So look, this is what we're going to be referring to. All right. Now, this is not everyone, but we do come up against this a couple of times, don't we? Here 100%. And there, certain bits. And I even on one match, basically the guy, I said the guy was putting a few bits behind in that, and then
into reserves.
And he actually mentioned, he said, I'm just putting. So bear with me, I've just got to sort out me. It's quite a relaxed thing. And he said, I've just got to put 25% here. I've just got to work that out. And I was like, oh no, it's not 25%. It's actually more than that.
Yeah.
And then I dug out the little booklet what comes in this,
in the box,
just to show him. And then from that we just had a bit of time. And then he ended up then putting, because he had transport. So he was, oh brilliant, I can actually load up my transport and use them a little bit,
Yeah.
So look, I'm going to just read this word for word, or maybe let's read this bit word for word, because this is the bit, and then we can probably
discuss it.
Yeah. So the thing what you got on screen right now is actually the
core rules, isn't
it? Is a screenshot of the core rules where it says 25%, and that is correct if you're just playing for those core rules. But when you and then Deep Strike is additional to that, by the way. But when you play this, it's slightly different. All right. And I'll bear with me because I had it all to hand, and then I've just lost it. Here we go. So reserve restrictions. Okay. So no more than half of the units in your army can start the battle in reserve. Okay, and those points and the point total of those units cannot be more than half of the points total of your army. So either way, so whether you've got, as we said,
10 units.
10 models, 10 units,
You can't have. You can have up to 5 of those units, even if those 5 units are less than half the points value of your army. You can have those in reserves, but you can't have a 6th one, basically,
Exactly.
to keep the maths
Yeah.
simple.
And the terminology of strategic, reserve, and reserve in this situation
It's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's not the core rules. It's in my eyes, it's just sort of just bending those core rules, really. Isn't it, a little bit, that's how I see it.
That's how, yeah.
But yeah, so look, those who are playing this, just if you are just putting 25% behind, okay. I mean, you might just want to do 25%.
Yeah, that's fine. But if you're
However,
playing the mission deck, I suppose as well, it's why this is so important is that this rule conflicts with what's written on screen in the core rules.
And that's the challenge.
And this is a challenge because a lot of people read the rules quite rightly in the core book, which you would do, not realizing that this particular rule is tweaked in the mission deck.
Yeah.
And this is where we've had the confusion, haven't we? So
definitely.
you either go to put half your army or up to half the points value or units in reserves, and people have gone, you can't do that. It's only 25%.
Yeah.
And it can catch you out, especially if you're playing like in a tournament. So you need to be able to reference where this is and just to be able to quick. And it's in the little pamphlet you get with the mission deck.
Yeah.
And vice versa as well. So, they might be like Rudy said, they might be trying to work out they can only put 25% in. But if you're playing that mission deck, they can put up to half the points value or up to half the amount of units, but not over.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting because this has happened to both of us. It's not as problematic as the ruins, but it does. It's confusing, and when you're not quite sure, because if someone's got the book or the app, and the app shows what's on screen, it's suddenly like, well, why do I now think you can put half of my units in? But it's in that pamphlet, which seems to overwrite it for the mission deck. Yeah,
entirely right.
So
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you are not playing by these and you're playing sort of by core rules, then obviously the core rules are this. Like if you're playing Crusades and anything like that, then this
isn't relevant. Yeah,
this isn't relevant. The rules are relevant, and that's when you do actually have to make sure that you know the difference between deep strike and you know the difference between strategic reserves
and reserves.
Yeah, reserves and
strategic reserves.
Strategic reserves.
But what's interesting, like, I mean, I don't know if I think about all the games I play, and probably you. Is it fair to say I think the majority, if not almost all of them, are from the mission decks?
Yeah.
If I think over the last year or so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I agree, definitely. So I think
hopefully that helps you guys out.
Yeah.
And saves you a bit of.
That's a really quick one there.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Shall we go on to my experience with the Lancers?
I think so. Yeah, because I haven't. I know you've done particularly well, but I want to.
Well, I mean,
I want to hear
than
about
what I've done ever in the past.
Yeah.
And I was quite excited about it. So now I know you probably won't see it just as much as I can't see that, but hopefully the viewers can see that a little bit better. And I've tried to sort of keep it. It's a bit tiny.
It's a bit small, but maybe just what have you got, Rudy? Just read out the characters and the data slates, and
okay, so I've got 3 Lancers, and each one of those had an enhancement on it. Okay, I had and I've got to look a little bit more. I might even put my glasses on here so I can actually read that. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So the first one had an aura on there, which that basically boosted a leadership to an armature, one of the war dogs around it. The other one had Mysterious Guardian, so that's the one where it can fade into so that's an enhancement where it can go into deep strike and fade away.
And is that once per battle?
Once per battle. It's a bit situational. However, it did come off.
It did come in clutch.
And then you had the banner. I can never say half these words.
Terminologies, these words.
I just can't. I mean, I'm illiterate anyway. But so that particular one there leaves objectives sticky.
Yeah, so you can own them, walk off them, and still own them. Yeah, hold them.
And then on the other side, I had basically 5 armatures, so 3 with the auto cannons and 2 with the thermal spears.
Yeah,
and all of them had melt guns.
Yeah. So, and this is different to your normal Knights army because you've got the extra Lancer, but you've
extra 2 Lancers.
So you got extra 2 Lancers, and you normally what have they replaced? What do you normally have?
So I would normally run a well. Hang on, because the points changed just recently, didn't they?
Yeah, right. They did. They definitely did. Yeah.
So they happy about.
So
the last game that we played and you went on holiday.
Yeah.
Before you went on holiday and I went on holiday, I played Canis Rex, Castellan, a Lancer, a Warden, and then I think I can't remember now. And then there was going to be a few War Dogs, like little war glaze on there.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been it. It might have been three. Might have been 3 war glaze and then an assassin. Maybe.
Yeah, that seems to ring a bell. Yeah,
I can't remember now. Anyway, but I was playing 4 big knights on the list.
Yeah.
Now I can really only get
3 in because
which probably seems about right. But where I always struggle with these is in melee, like massively, and you're heavy melee, and that's where I come stuck. Is the Lancer is fine. It has a 4 up in run all day long. It's got 28 wounds, and it can really hang in there with just a couple of wounds.
It can, yeah.
The other ones though, 5 up in run and ranged, and then and they get a feel no pain. I don't think they're going to get that moving forward, by the way, in the codex.
It's a 6 up feel no pain with them.
It's a 6 up feel no pain, but if I kill a Warlord, it drops down to 5.
Okay.
But how many times does that always come off?
Yeah, not much. No.
I don't think I'm going to get that as an auto in this new codex. It doesn't look like it's some of the things that Games Workshop are releasing. I think it might have to be earned a little bit.
Or choose a type, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Definitely. It's fine. It just gives you a little bit more sort of. Hopefully, I'll get other little buffs than that. But having these Lancers, it really made me sort of think. Actually, I don't really give a monkeys. I'm going to literally just get in there, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I stormed in.
Stormed forward.
Yeah, I did. Where I might have been a little bit more reserved with a couple of them.
Yeah.
I rightly or wrongly, I went straight in.
Straight up the board.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So on the Saturday, it was a really relaxed day. It was really good crowd. I think you're going to have to come along to the next one.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It was good. Barbecue laid on. It was just a real good atmosphere. You know. We had 2 games. You see what I mean? Because I think we were meant to be 3, but we were all chatting too much.
So you didn't get through. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was
quality.
Good.
Yeah.
There was some nice there was a charity, money being raised, and then and there were some good prizes. You know, so it was a good day. Anyway, back to the thing. So I played a chap called Andrew with his Black Templars, which when you ever played it with someone and you go, I really want them now.
Well, because they look so good because they played good. Nicely as well.
Played really good.
Yeah.
Really mean. Like I think their melee is meaner than yours.
Ooh.
Honestly,
any Templars out there?
There wasn't hundreds of dice.
Yeah.
But it just seemed to hit hard. You know.
Yeah.
They look cool.
They look cool. They look with the robes and all the Knight Templar thing going on, and they are.
They look good. So let's have a little look at. And I've managed to get some of the lists and that sent to me. So let's kill that and bring this up here. Now look, don't. This is more of a case of sharing with people who might actually know what they are. Okay. But I'm just going to. So Andrew, out of the 14 people, Andrew with this list, he came second.
Okay, so he's almost one. Yeah.
He came second. The chap who came first, I can't think what he was playing actually, but so he came second. So and I lost that game by 5 points. It was like 68 to 60.
So it's a close game. Yeah, really close.
Yeah, it literally got to. It was like a handful of his units, I think. He had like infantry, and then on the center objective, we were playing Burden of Trust.
Okay, yeah.
Burden of Trust, the one where the Alpha and the Object
and the Omega, and they removed them.
Yeah, we're playing that, so that meant that the center one was the bit where
you'll run towards it and have like a massive punch up at the end.
And we were playing. It was to the wire. It was. You know, it's like a really good game. And I had one armature in the middle, and then he had his like other guys around it. But he pulled up a couple of sort of cards where basically, thankfully for me, it meant that because he was a bit behind at that point, but he then pulled a couple of cards and he thought, well, do you know what? There's some easy little ones. I'm going to move here.
Just to score like a quick 5 points.
In a roundabout way, I think that saved me a little bit from him actually trying to blow that thing off the board.
Right, okay, because it diverted his attention a bit.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And then I can't remember. Either way, it ended right to the end and it was 5 points in it. And straight away at the beginning, I thought, I was happy with that.
Yeah, it was a good game.
But yeah, because I have struggled in that with stuff.
Dice,
yeah, but you can't blame the dice.
You can't always blame the dice.
You got to weigh it.
Yeah.
You got to, we watch lots of videos, and it's sort of you got to make it so it's sort of weighed your way somehow, don't you?
Yeah, 100%.
You see what I mean? So it's like you make sure that you've got not the dice roll right, but the fact is that maybe that you've got all the right buffs.
The right buffs, and the army complements itself almost. Yeah. So it's play style.
Yeah, and at the same time, odds on that you are going to start rolling good. I mean, I was playing. Where was I playing? It was him
What?
in the beginning, and I literally 6, 6, 6.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it soon then went no
One,
1, 2,
yeah.
1. You know. But that was good. Yes, let's have a little look. See if I can try and just point out some of his bits and pieces going on here. He had a gladiator lancer. He had his dreadnought and the repulsor executioner, and he had those all. Those the ones with the transport sort of capabilities. They were loaded up, and he kept them off the board at first. What I did in turn one, because I actually got to go first,
Just lance up.
I literally just chucked those lancers straight up the board.
Yeah.
Now, in a roundabout way, it was a bad trade-off because I only took out one blade card and one lancer didn't make it all the way, so it was left out in the open.
Right. Okay.
However, somehow they lasted another couple of turns.
Yeah. 26 wounds each might help with that.
Yeah, but there was one of them that was on 2 wounds and it lasted.
Just limped it on.
He was just like, why won't it go? Do you know what I mean? You know?
Why won't it die?
The thing is at the same time he was a really good guy to play, you know, so it was an enjoyable match. But yeah, so close match. Went really well, and I now want to play Black Templars. But look, for those of you looking at Black Templars, that was the list he ran, and that is what he used. I haven't got a codex. I can't tell you what all of these bits and pieces were on there. What I can tell you that he's Emperor's champion. When he said to me after the match, he said, "You know what? He's done like some amazing stuff for me."
Man of the match, Emperor.
He was not man of the match.
Oh, it wasn't. No.
No, he proper let him down. Like,
Did he?
Yeah, definitely. Like for instance, he gets like buffed.
He's the guy with the sword in the orc, is he? Yeah, I know. I know.
I mean, it's such a cool model.
Yeah.
And I think he gets like a boost on his advance and boost on his charge.
Yeah.
And he was almost. Well, it wasn't guaranteed, but it looked like it was guaranteed to get into my Lancer. My Lancer was on 1 wound, and he was like, right, I'm just going to send him in there. He failed it. But then he failed the last one, and all I think it was. And he was just like, oh, do you know, but you know when you sort of think, I don't want that thing coming in.
Yeah,
and then
a wrecking ball.
Yeah, definitely. But then he did get in at one stage, and it just didn't
perform.
do it. Yeah, it didn't perform. But that's how it is. That's why the game is so great, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Or not, I don't know.
It depends on the day and what happens for you. But yeah, the amount of times, like I'll send Mephiston in. We all know if you're a Blood Angel player, he's quite swingy with his attack. You hate Mephiston, but yeah, sometimes he can be an absolute tank.
Yeah.
And just, impossible to kill. And other times he can just get smoked.
Yeah.
If Chris is watching this and when he got burnt alive by his towel. So, yeah.
So anyway, so that was the Black Templars. Then second one was Connor. He was playing his Votann. Now up until this point,
they're rare.
I don't think they're not so rare now.
Do you not see? Yeah,
blowing the dust off because they're
coming back, are they?
Well, they've had a bit of a. Did they have a new codex literally about 2 weeks ago?
So the thing with Votann, like if I just going back to the start of this school, cool, like talk. I've been playing 3 years, and I think I've played Votann twice.
Well, I've literally this is the first time I ever played.
And yeah, I mean, to be fair, they absolutely came. It was when they first came out, and they were like so OP, really? And they destroyed me.
Yeah, this. Do you know what? Sort of. So we were playing. So we had a choice of playing Twist, and it was basically up to whoever wanted to play the Twist, right? Like on the table.
Yeah.
Now me and Andrew didn't realise that, and it was about sort of the Warlord got a buff. If it was, I can't remember what it was now. It was one of the Twist ones. I can't remember what it is, but it didn't apply. It didn't. Whatever how it worked, it just didn't apply to one of my units. That was it. Couldn't be a vehicle.
Okay.
So you could give it. I think it was like you could give your Warlord a buff on attacks or something like that. I can't remember which Twist it was. You guys will know if you be able to dig them out. I've got the thing here. You should look at it. But I didn't get that buff because it didn't have the attacks. However, both him and me just didn't hear that it was optional anyway. We were like, "Oh, right, brilliant. Oh, don't worry." And I don't think it swung the game at all.
Yeah.
I think that the next one did though for me. So basically, it was one where you could not shoot until they were within 18 inch.
That's nasty.
It was nasty for Votann list because it was all shooty. He had like his mortars, which are the what was it?
I'm not very good with the Votann characters, but I can imagine what they like a 36-inch range.
Yeah, two. Is it? I can't remember. Earth Shakers and that. Then he had some other range pieces and bits and pieces.
And they just nerfed them with that. You don't want to come that close to Knights, do you?
But the thing is, it was a choice. So I knew that he didn't want it, but I did want it because I was like more melee.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I think it's best to leave it to the dice roll.
Yeah.
and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So and then I won it.
So
So
you
Connor, if you're watching
yes.
this, and I personally think that was the game because I mean he put up a good damn fight. You see what I mean? And it was I was thinking, hang on a minute, this is not looking like an easy swing right now. But then all of a sudden, it was, I can't think which mission it was, but all of a sudden it just started to sort of like point up really.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Towards the end, it just points up.
Yeah.
Like 80 to 60 or
Nice.
something like that. So yeah, but I'll be honest with you,
Excuse me.
and it's not because I've never, ever since I've done, it's something about the Votann. I can't love the models.
What? Because they're like space dwarfs, or
Yeah, I just don't.
short guys in armor.
I don't know. I just like, I don't know the little trucks and that.
You're not buying into it.
Yeah, you know, they're so float the boat.
Yeah,
really.
it's
And it could have. It doesn't matter if I suppose if it was if I got thrashing like that. I've never actually liked them. The thing is, I don't know how because I think they hit on 4s and 5s.
okay.
4s and
So
5s.
their shooting's not.
But I think there's a long. I mean, I think a lot of his list was hitting on 4s and 5s, but then they get other bits of stuff. When he had a little Terminator unit, I think it might be a 10 strong. There probably is. The list would be on there, but that was pokey. Then you had some other guys who had sort of like some hefty old sort of weapons and that, which took some chunks out of the Lancer when they were firing. But once I got in,
They were knackered.
They're
not. They're a bit like, aren't they? A bit like Tau, where they're not very good. They're not good at melee, are they at all? There's a couple of units that are, but not in the main.
Like a Space Marine Terminator unit, but maybe not as sort of
good.
You would need more models to
make them good. Yeah,
I think the amount of models he had would equal probably maybe a 5
Mhm.
Terminator unit.
Mhm.
That's my estimate on it. And there was a lot of models on there.
Yeah.
It sort of, and at the same time, it was a fairly open board and all. There wasn't lots of terrain
to hide behind.
So when I got that actual, when I got that sort of twist on the way my side, I was able to really get across that board quite easily.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, so in the end, I came 5th out of 14, which is probably one of my better.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know there wasn't like hundreds and hundreds of people there, but the last time I played in that same bunch of people, well, not different people, but same sort of group really. I came, I think it was like 14 out of 18 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's a massive improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the 3 Lancers definitely helped.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But at the same time, I sort of think maybe I am doing things. I don't know how you look at it, but with the right list.
Yeah, you can play it better.
I know that I can win. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, 100%.
And maybe the list I haven't been using just on right.
Yeah,
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we hope you enjoyed tonight. Thanks for inviting me on, Rudy. It was good to talk. Really, the main aim of tonight is to give you some insights into our game playing over the last sort of few year as newish players, and hope you get some benefit from that. Reviewing Rudy's list has been good fun, and his improvements there. So if you have any comments or feedback that you can drop in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Obviously, press all of the magical like, subscribe buttons, and let us know if you've got any ideas for the future. And what we will try and do is do some regular content where we do just review whether it's particular rules, things we've struggled on, ideas for games where we can help improve. We've also got some of the White Dwarf stuff coming out. We're going to have a go at those.
Look at the Space Marine sort of 2 version in the White Dwarf. It looks really cool. So yeah, if you want to see that being played, let us know really.
Yeah.
And we can certainly
get going there. And really, we want to get some regular content snippets on for you guys. Rudy's got painting tutorials going now, which look really cool. So yeah. So any ideas, drop them in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one, I suppose.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.